Hello, welcome to Al's Air Guns. Hey, welcome to a summer edition, 2025. It is the first week of July, and I wanted to talk about what you might expect upcoming on the channel. I did a separate video that I'll release about the same time here, but I was talking about the fact that I found out that Crosman has released the 2250, which is their carbine version of a 2240, in an XL version over in the UK. I wasn't aware of that. The XL version, and this is not a 2250, this is a custom rifle or carbine that I was building up, but very similar. The 2250 XL version is shipping with a steel breech and one of their 4-power center point scopes, as well as a half-inch universal thread on the muzzle to support an airgun moderator. Thought that was a pretty cool offering. Was surprised Crosman hasn't put it out to the market here in the US. Personally, I would really value something like that. And if you'd like to see the Crosman 2250 brought back here in the US with those updates, yeah, go ahead and leave a comment about that. Maybe we can get them to do that. A couple of other things that are coming up. Longtime viewers of the channel have probably seen some of my videos on the Gamo Viper Express air shotgun, 22 caliber pellet gun that also shoots these little Gamo shot shells. And we've done a number of videos on the gun itself, as well as the shells, reloading for them, and some of the good loading alternatives there. Over the course of the last, 5 years or so, my shotgun has seen considerable wear and tear. I was looking, I got it from Pyramid Air, and I got one of those things where they chronograph and test it before they ship it out. They're 10 for 10 certificate, and I have mine still in the box here. And what I see was they were testing it with a relatively lightweight pellet. I believe they were hobbies, and they were like a 7-grain pellet, and it was shooting right about 781 feet per second, which is about what we would expect for it. This has led a hard life. Everything from when I shortened the barrel to experimenting with the different loads. During that time, I saw a lot of detonation, learning the pros and cons of overloading or underloading those shells. And, you know, through the use and abuse, this gun has lost velocity. It's down considerably, at least 100 feet per second or more below what it was shooting out when new. So I ordered some replacement parts. Going to use my Air Venturi spring compressor to go ahead and take it apart. Want to look at, of course, lubricating, and I think I may need a new top hat, a new seal. I think I may be losing some power there. So I ordered one I believe will fit, and if all goes as planned, I ordered a nitro piston, a gas ram that I believe will fit in here. Now, I've heard that more through the rumor mill than any kind of documentation that I've found saying it will. If all goes well, we'll probably replace the seals and drop in a Crosman nitro piston. And I don't know why, we should get our velocity back up to where it was when new. I don't know that we'll see an increase, but of course we will have a smoother firing action, smoother cocking, and it doesn't hurt those to leave them cocked for long periods of time, where that tends to weaken the steel springs in here. So yeah, depending on whether or not that fits, we may just do a basic tune-up, rebuild, refresh on the existing power plant, or if we get lucky, we're going to swap that out to a gas ram. So yeah, that's one project that the parts are actually supposed to be in today. So we should get started on that and have a video out on that pretty soon. Now, another thing that has been very popular in the YouTube airgun community and shout out to Papa T Adventures and Nibs over at Walnut and Steel. They're the ones that introduced the concept to me, although they were not the originators. And that is people cutting cans with their air gun and basically suspending a beverage can from your Coke or soft drink, beer can, whatever, suspending it from a thread, backing off, intermediate distance depending on what you're using to shoot with, much closer with BB guns or low-powered air guns, further away with some of the more high-end stuff. But anyway, seeing how many shots it takes you to cut the can in half, and you want to do it in under 50. I have a few air guns in my inventory here, and I thought, well, it'd be fun to compete in that. I wanted to try my hand at the can cut. And in thinking about that, that led me to go, well, what should I shoot out of the selection that I have in front of me? What would be a good can cutter, excuse me. And what I came up with, and I have some reasons I'll talk about why, I looked at my Daisy BB guns, my new Red Ryder, now that we've mounted the red dot on it via that lasso scope mount. She is shooting well. Thought about the BB gun, even played a little bit around cutting some cans with that one. Also tried a couple of different pellet guns. In my situation, for reasons and being sensitive to those that are restricted in their state to .177 caliber, I decided I wanted it to be a .177 caliber air gun. And while, obviously larger calibers, more powerful air guns tear bigger holes in the can and can cut it much easier, and that's very evident if you're shooting with a BB gun. You'll notice those BBs, they make small holes. Anyway, I restricted myself to .177 caliber for my own reasons, and then started playing with a couple of different air guns, seeing which one might make the most sense. And what I found out in playing around is decent velocity with a hollow point pellet helps your odds. If we're using domed or pointed pellets, particularly in .177 caliber, they just tend to poke a hole and go right through. Whereas something like a Crosman destroyer at a fair velocity, it'll tend to rip the can and make a bigger hole. So if we're looking to do it in fewer shots, it would seem, to make sense that we want to do more damage to the can. Anyway, I thought about my Beeman QB78. I thought about a lot of the different air guns I had. And I came to decide, at least in my instance, I think my ultimate can cutter is going to be the Ruger 1022 in .177 caliber. Obviously bigger caliber, that restriction's my own, but restricting it to .177, the Ruger has a lot of significant advantages. If I limit myself to iron sights and I'm not using a scope or a red dot on it, I find the sights on this rifle to be incredibly usable. When you compare it to the other rifles in its category, these Ruger sights are tried and true over the years, and they're popular for good reason. They work really well. So for me, I can hit better with the open sights on this rifle than I can with pretty much any of the others. Additionally, when you buy the Ruger package, mine, and I believe they still do this, shipped with 4 of their magazines. And these are a 10-shot rotary magazine. Well, if can cutting's limited generally to 50 shots and under, hey, this lets me sit down and load up at the beginning. Hopefully, I'll cut it within the 4, but if I need to reload one magazine, I can. But the speed and the ability to sit down, load up all my magazines, and get to work was really, really attractive about this. And as I played around with the different air guns that I have in my arsenal here in .177 caliber, this delivered the velocity that I needed to get those hollow points to expand and do the damage I was looking for. Yet at the same time, it's very quiet. very easy to shoot. And you know, you load up the 2 CO2 cylinders and you've got all the shots you need to once again get through that 50 shot attempt or success at cutting the can. So you know, when I look at the specifications, they claim a velocity of 450 feet per second. I do have a video out where we actually tested that. I forget what it is off the top of my head, but we can go ahead and put that on the screen for you here. But it's my belief, and I'm new to the sport, but it is my belief that this little Ruger 1022 could be the ultimate can cutter if we're looking at the restrictions on the lower end there. So we'll find out. Expect a video on that soon. So yeah, the things I wanted to talk about. Going to be doing work on the Gamo. Hopefully we'll be able to get a gas ram in that. Wanted to call Crosman out. Why not give us the carbine back, Crosman? We'd like to see the 2250 XL in the US. If you agree with me, leave a comment, please. And going to try my hand can cutting. I've been dabbling off screen. And through that process, my ultimate decision surprised me a little bit. But the Ruger 1022 could well be the ultimate can cutter. Stay tuned. And hey, I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care.